Welcome, and this is going to be a short overview of our Visual Plan software SiteView used for crime, crash, fire, and pre-incident planning. What you're going to see here is that we are referencing four different scenes here on a satellite image overlay. Uh, the scenes are listed on the left. This data was provided by the University of Toronto, Eugene Lissio's crime scene house, which is going to be one of the buildings here. This is a mock scene. We have a vehicle accident at the intersection here, pursuit. We have a building where the suspect and victims entered with some surveillance footage into the far building here. And final two crime scenes will be in this crime scene house here with blood pattern analysis and a number of other items that we can look at. Okay, so I clicked on the crime scene in the far building, and we'll see that we can kind of move around this map left to right. We can toggle that from basically a maps view to satellite overlay, and we can zoom in, and you'll see that the crime scene diagram here, in this case it was an ortho image of the Farrell laser scan, was accurately georeferenced right here into the scene. So closing that down, we can navigate around. We are dealing with 360 imagery, both from an Insta360 R and a Farrell scanner. So I'm going to show just the imagery from the Insta360 R first. And then on the left-hand side, we'll drop down a list of evidence markers, and we can create as many groups as we want. So if I wanted a different group of evidence and we want to call this, let's say for a CSI team, we can do so, and then only the evidence annotations that are related to that group will show up here in the left side. So as you can see, weapon, miscellaneous items, body, fire debris, bodily fluids, contusions, etc. So if I was to add a marker, I could go ahead and do that by selecting one of these items. So maybe we notice some contusions on the victim. We can place in our marker ID here. We can place in whatever description we like. We can mention what type of abrasions we're seeing, our observations, collection process. If we're sending off to have any DNA or anything that's sent to the lab, we can mention this. Who had collected the information, the date and time, and then we can go ahead and save that, and we can georeference that specific location. I'm just going to cancel that one because we have quite a few to look at here, and I wanted to just give you kind of a bit of an example to kind of look at there. If I do also want to create a report from all these annotations, I can export to an HTML or PDF report, which I'm going to do in just a moment here, but I'm going to navigate around first. So I can navigate through this scene either from just basically hovering over and seeing where the next adjacent pano is, or I can navigate from the two-dimensional here and pick a point in which I want to travel to by the pano. So you can see the direction of the pano here. So an excellent way to augment an existing data set, whether the data set is collected by hand measurements, if you're an agency that doesn't have an expensive device and we want to provide visualization, or perhaps you're using traditional survey and you have point data with a diagram that we can bring in that crime scene diagram, but then again have some visualization. Or maybe you're using a drone and don't have indoor documentation visualization, or if we want, you can put these cameras directly on a drone and we can go ahead and we can navigate a scene from within the software, even if it's a drone data set, which is really quite cool. And from a drone, you get really good data on the vertical surfaces using 360 imagery, but just another application that you can use with our software. So just kind of like your Google Street View walkthrough, you can navigate through the space, and something like this could be documented in a very, very short period of time. We're actually using time-lapse video, so at walking speed, you can do exteriors or roadways for collision analysis. Indoors, if you're using a tripod, each picture takes between 2 and 8 seconds, depending if you're using an HDR setting on your camera, that sort of thing. And then, interestingly, we can also bring in point clouds from the laser scanners, and we can compare data. So if you have different data sets that you want to show, maybe it's 2 different times a day or something like that, we can bring in comparative data, or from your laser scanner, as I mentioned earlier. In this case, I have data sets that include the Faro panos as well. and I have this data set is just the Insta360. And these are in a live sync, so we can navigate around and see those data sets side by side in perfect synchronization. So, just kind of a quick and easy way to be able to capture your scene with a $500 or $1,000 360 camera and a really innovative, cool piece of software. We can also start to add other items to our evidence, so we can attach scene photography, audio testimonials, video surveillance of the scene. All these things can be attached to annotations so that we have a complete picture of the scene from whatever type of investigation you're running. The other thing is that because this is so fast, I believe it could be used definitely in the investigative process as opposed to just simply a court deliverable. So, being able to capture a scene in 20 minutes and to be able to process and deliver same day or to be used in your morning briefings has got a truckload of value. So with the single button click to report, this is the type of report you'd be generating. So each evidence has its basic metadata, the device that was used to capture, and whatever fields, custom fields that you had programmed to display and your answers that you had filled out. You get a view from the top down of the map and then a zoomed up view with the pen of the camera facing that direction and your evidence imagery. There are deep links here that go directly to the visual tour. So you can click here and it will bring you directly to that evidence item. And all of this is automatically generated, that no extra work, and can be a very nice print to PDF option as part of your case file. So really a very, very simple, quick way to create a demonstrative exhibits report and to be able to understand your evidence in detail and to share with various people very quickly or through an email. And that's all for today. So if you would like to see this scene in detail, send me an email. I'll add you to the project. You can virtually visit this crime scene and give us your thoughts. Thanks very much.